And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man Dale Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, bro. How y'all feeling? Happy Tuesday, man. I hope all is well out there. Um, yeah, I like to move around, guys. If you've been watching, I've been putting up a lot of DL shorts. And I've also been active on downrange podcasts over there, downrange politics or political podcast, which I forget what I use, but basically downrange podcast. I've been active over there talking about what's going on in the Middle East, the Israeli-Hamas war, which Hamas started. And so, yeah, you guys, if you've been, on the channel, you see me out there putting out shorts, and I've been real active with the YouTube shorts as well. I'll be doing more of those tonight. I'm just out here trying to make it work, man. Just out here trying to grind. Um, Real quick before I forget, anybody in the Tampa area or Orlando, Sarasota area, Vincent O'Shannell will be at the Improv Thursday night for one show. I think the show starts at 7:30 or 8 or something like that. If you're around, get tickets and go check him out. Go check him out. Don't judge Vinny by what you see on the PBD podcast when they get to talking about politics. Nah, go see him on stage. That's one of the funniest guys out there in the business. You know what I mean? Just so you guys know, he is worth checking out. Shout out to Vinny. Shout out to Vinny. I'll definitely be there. If you guys are in the Tampa area, you'll see me there. I'm gonna go in there for a hot second, and then I'll be traveling this weekend. I'm off doing some stuff as well. But yeah, in this comedy game, we definitely got to support each other, man. And Vinny's been in the trenches for a long time. He and I work together out in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. What's good? I got the nights in the building already. What's good, man? GMC Hammer in the building. What's happening? Hope all is well, man. I was thinking about you just a few minutes ago, man. I was about to drop a link in our chat, and I'm like, I'll do it after the show. I'm glad you popped in. Hope all is well. I know you're going through the little BS you're going through, but like I said, keep your head up, keep pushing forward. It's gonna work out. It's really gonna work out because Manny and I had a good recon down there in Miami, so can't wait to talk to the fellas, talk to the rest of the nights, and you know what I'm saying, bring you in on what we think we could do down there. So good to see you, bro. Thanks for always being here, supporting your old Uncle Saint. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about comedy, man. Like that comedy life ain't no joke. It's hard. And right now, the hottest dude in comedy is Matt Rife. We talked about him a couple months ago. I had my buddy Doc on. Doc Willis was on. We were talking about the comedy game. And I saw this PatrickCc video, and I'm like, I got to react to that. So yeah, man, let's get into it, man. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Yes. Shout out to Shushu for making that happen. I love that video. I love that intro, man. I love it. I guess all good. We you know what I mean, me and my brother Knight is like, thanks for the words, Unc. That's love. Of course, bro. Of course, man. We in this together, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a plan. We're gonna make it happen. So this video, man, PatrickCc, man. First of all, shout out to PatrickCc. His exposés are on point. If you guys haven't checked out his page, you should definitely check it out. In fact, let me drop it. I'm gonna drop his link in the chat. You guys can, here's the video that we're going to react to. I just want to drop it in the chat so you guys can just jump over there to his page and like. He has over a million, like 1.5 million subscribers, but man, let's get him up to 100 million, man, because this brother is doing really good work, broadcast quality work, if you ask me. And he talks about so many people in the entertainment business and like in politics or whatever, man. He does a good job. He does his research. Shout out to that brother. You know what I mean? He definitely deserves a Don DeMarco for the work he's doing. And I found him, I kind of saw a couple of his things, but then Melanie King was like, really a big supporter of PatrickCc. So I was like, I'm gonna go check out some more of his stuff. And like I said, pleasantly surprised. He's doing his thing. You know what I mean? yeah, so we just gonna do our thing, man. And I've never met the brother, but I know a lot of people who know him. And I haven't heard anything bad about him, but we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the weeds in this, man. Y'all gonna get a little peek on how that comedy game works, especially in a place like LA. And this guy has a very interesting story. You know what I mean? You know, brother G Hammer was saying, GMC Hammer was saying, interesting you're making a live about Matt Rife. I did want to ask you your thoughts on him as a comic since he's been blowing up. Yeah, man, he's blown all the way up. Like this bro, he's doing a world tour, and you about to get my take on it right here, right now. Like we about to get into it. And I mean, there's a lot to it. I mean, the comedy game ain't no joke. My big thing in comedy, if you want to be a stand-up comedian, fine, just understand it's going to take some time. It's going to take not some time. It's going to take a lot of time, years and years before you even develop maybe 5 to 15 minutes of solid material. For real, it's not easy getting on stage. It looks easy, and it looks like anyone can do it. You know what I mean? And you might believe it yourself. You might think I can go out there and do that. All right, cool. Go do an open mic. And even once you develop your style, when you become a comedian and you're accepted amongst comics, now you got the whole mission and the whole struggle of actually getting on stage. You know, you have to stay on stage. If you're a comedian, you got to be getting up. You got to be getting up all the time. And it's not just like, oh, I got up at a show tonight and I did 5 minutes. No, you got to be getting up 4, 5, 6 times a night if it's possible. In the places like New York, you can easily do that. You can easily do, 4, 5, 6, slots at, 3 to 12 minutes each, depending on where you're performing or whatever. You could do that. LA is difficult. It's difficult. When I was in LA, it was real hard. Especially when you got to a certain point. Like you can hit open mics and you can find some book rooms, you can do that. But I mean, in LA, if you can do 3 spots in a night, you were doing really good. And then once you became established as a comic and, like the Ice House and Flappers and the Comedy Store and the Improv and the Laugh Factory, they all know you. You become regulars at some of these spots, some of these locations, then yeah, you're good. Because now you can do just maybe 1 spot a night, but you're doing 25, 30 minutes. So 1 or 2, you're solid. Like, all right, let me do my spot over here at the Comedy Store and do my 15 minutes at the Comedy Store. Let me run down and do a guest spot or a pop-in spot at the Improv. And then let me end my night at Flappers or the Ice House and I could go out there and headline or something like that. That's pretty much as good as you're going to get in LA. In New York, you could do, 3 times as many rooms because New York is just bigger. So and then once you get that established, right, you establish yourself as a comic, you're accepted amongst other comics. You're doing, people are coming to you to do the book rooms. You're starting to make a little bit of money. You get yourself a agent, get yourself a manager. You're a regular somewhere at one of these comedy establishments, like I said. Now, what's next? And for the people in Hollywood, that means movies. That means writing gigs. That means Saturday Night Live. That means maybe, because I hate improv. Saturday Night Live is like the pinnacle of improv. But to be a writer on Saturday Night Live, that's a good paying gig. I know a lot of people who've done that. Not a lot, but a few, and then becoming an actor, becoming a director, becoming whatever. That's when people go to LA, that's pretty much the end game there. People go to New York, they just want to be a comic and they start hitting the road. Like if you don't want to do the Hollywood stuff, you can hit the road. You can start traveling and just going to different cities and featuring and headlining all over the country. And then you start doing corporate gigs and you get yourself on one of those cruises. And then it's so many ways to make money, but it's a constant hustle. So if anyone gets to the point where they're a household name or they get to a point where they have fame, they did something right. Now, a lot of these people, they leave a wake of destruction behind them because they don't care. They're trying to climb that ladder and they don't care who they screw over. So as they climb that ladder, they're being bad to folks. And, they tell you, like, you better treat people nice on the way up because you're going to see those same people on the way back down. And I can't say this about Matt Rife. He hasn't really made any enemies to my knowledge. The people who don't like him that are in the biz are the typical haters, right? And we're going to see a little bit of that in this video that PatrickCc did. So yeah, let's get into that, man. Let's check this out. So this This video is pretty cool. This is pretty cool, like 17 minutes. And I did not know anything really about uh, about Matt Rife until my man Doc told me about him a few months ago. I looked it up and I was like, wow, this dude's doing world tour, and it's sold out. I mean, Doc and I were on a live, and I was pulling stuff up. I'm like, bro, like, who is this kid? He is sold out, and I've watched some of his content. And we're gonna get into how he kind of made his way via TikTok and other social media platforms and other stuff that he was doing. Can't hate on him. He's doing his thing. His crowd work is good. But he's a young guy and he's a young comic. And this opportunity came his way. I cannot hate on him. I just can't. I can't hate on him. We got brother Viking in the building. Viking Paradigm Overwatch reporting in. That was good, bro. Good to see you, man. Will you be in Miami this weekend, bro? If so, let's get together. Let's break bread, man. I'll be there. I'll be there with a couple nights. You know what I mean? Brother Donnie in the building. What's good, fam? Matt Rife is funny as fuck. Yet another great topic, D. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. So we're about to get into it. As a comic, I've been in the business for a long time. The way I look at comedy is different than everyday folks. You feel me? Because y'all ain't in the business. I get it. But yeah, this guy's doing this thing. And his marketing strategy is on point. So let's get into it. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. Here we go.
This is 28-year-old comedian Matt Rife, who has seemingly exploded into fame overnight because of TikTok. He just sold out a world tour 10 days after announcing it. From now until the end of next year, every single one of his live performances is sold out. This level of dominance has not been seen in over a decade. However, Matthew Stephen Rife does not belong in comedy. Most iconic comedians are ugly. Okay, that was harsh. But in all seriousness, they typically represent the common man. This relatability creates camaraderie between the comic and their audience, laughing together on shared experiences and understanding. Although Matt is from a very small country town in Ohio, he doesn't represent the common man. He has perfect hair, a chiseled jawline, and follows no specific diet, yet has the body of a male supermodel. Now, the only real goal of being a comedian is to make people laugh. Whether you are a ventriloquist or dishing one-liners, if the audience laughs, you're doing your job. But one thing you'll notice is that a certain demographic likes Matt's comedy more than most: women. From the words of legendary comedian Norm Macdonald, women are attracted to funny men. It is often said. This is not true. It only appears this way because women laugh at everything a very handsome man says. So this gives the very handsome men the idea that they are funny. When Matt got his teeth fixed, everything changed. He started.
So a lot of this right off bat, PatrickCc got right into it. Listen, guys, you don't have to be an ugly, fat, awkward person to be a good comic, man. You don't. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. It's just a certain demographic pursues that career field. And there's a lot of weird dudes out there doing it. But most of the guys who tend to make it to the top, and the women, most of the people who make their way to the top, who really commit to it, they may have a certain look, but they're not like mutants. They're not like trolls who crawl from under the bridge and decide to come out and do some comedy, man. And they're all socially aware. You have to be intelligent. You have to be able to read your crowd. You have to, you have to know how to craft your content, your material. It takes a lot of work, like Matt Rife, he definitely is a handsome young man, but I mean, I can name 10 dudes right now, all of the Wayne brothers. You feel me? Like you look at that, you look at Chris Rock, Tony Rock, Bill Burr when he was younger. Even now, like Bill Burr is maturing into, like an OG type dude. It's just, you don't have to be some sort of weirdo to be a good stand-up comedian. A lot of guys won't give up, and a lot of those dudes are suffering, right? So, they're trying to get to the next level, and they're just weird and whatever, but they love the art form so much that they won't give it up. It was a guy named Gaylord Dingler. They did a documentary about him. I don't think they ever released it, but you want to talk about people just committed to the art form and just, would be homeless damn near, but show up every day for the open mic, well, once a week for the open mic. That was Gaylord Dingler. And The documentary was entitled, I think it was Where's Gaylord Dingler? I think that was the name of it, or what happened. It was either What Happened to Gaylord Dingler or Where is Gaylord Dingler, right? Because that's, if you can find that documentary, watch it. It's going to be hilarious. I promise you, it's going to be hilarious. My brother Knight was like, would you be interested in interviewing comics on your platform, Monk? Absolutely, man. I've already interviewed a handful. I've interviewed John Huck. I've had Ty Barnett on here multiple times. Had Doc Willis on here recently. I'm going to get some more comics on here. I have my buddy BJ Bales on here. BJ is an actor, but he has stand-up roots. So I'm always looking, of course, to holler at, and interview the people I came up with, but I'm branching out. So yeah, absolutely, bro. You're gonna see more. You're gonna see more comics on the platform. And Brother Vike is like, yeah, he'll be there. Seeing me as a VIP. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up, bro. I look forward to seeing you. I'll hit you up when I get down there, bro. We'll be down Friday. So yeah, you don't have to be, some kind of mutant to get into the business, but there are a lot of mutants in the business. Let's continue.
Started noticing that more and more girls were showing up to his performances, swooning over him, sending him risky DMs after the show.
We would go to these colleges, and I would walk out on stage, and for the first 20 seconds, it's nothing but girls oh my God, will you marry me? Just cheering and stuff like that. Only girls.
He admits that when the crowd has less women, he needs to be funnier to earn the audience's respect.
I don't know if you heard this before, but they said that when you stepped on stage, people judge you in the first few seconds.
Yeah, what they said.
They said they didn't think they were gonna like you.
Dude, I get that
all
so
the time, right?
Often.
Because you look like Justin Bieber, yo.
Men, in particular, have a hard time enjoying Matt's comedy. You can see a perfect example in this clip of Matt doing crowd work, which is essentially when the comedian interacts directly with the crowd and tries to come up with jokes on the spot. It is the hardest and most unpredictable comic style, but Matt has it mastered. Rife is
absolutely. Crowd work is the hardest thing to do as a comedian. It's scary. You don't know what the crowd's going to do. You don't know what that individual's going to do. I've seen fights break out over bad crowd work. I've seen fights break out over good crowd work. I think one of the best in the game at crowd work is Ian Bagg. Ian Bagg is one of the best ever. Canadian comedian, performs all over America. His crowd, his whole routine, his whole hour is 45 minutes of crowd work, bro. I might be exaggerating, but just a little bit. His crowd work is second to none. If you are a comic and you love to do crowd work and you're good at it, bro, you got a career. You got a career. You could come in there with half-ass material, but your crowd work is on point and get away with it. You can be a lazy comic if you have great crowd work. And maybe that's one of the criticisms that Matt Rife is facing. Oh, he's handsome, women love him, and he doesn't have to, come up with all this brand new material. He just does crowd work. And you watch people who are good at crowd work, they kind of do the same thing over and over again. The words may change a little bit, right? Again, that comes with the intelligence, but it's pretty much the same thing. He knows how to craft it, and he knows he's going to get a laugh, and he knows that he's dealing with 85% of the audience is going to be women, and these women are thirsting after him anyway. It's a wrap. And for you red pill people out there, it just goes to show you women do pursue guys. Before the world tour, Matt Rife was not making a whole lot of money. He was just out there in the world trying to make his mark in comedy. He wasn't paid. So all these people well, he has the six-pack. All right, he's a kid, right? He eats right. He wasn't paid. He's getting paid now. He had his social proof. He was funny. He's smart, socially aware, and that's how he was coming up. You feel me? That's how he was coming up. You know what I mean? Brother Penny Juice is in the building. What's good, fam? It's this guy kind of sounds like a hater. Matt Rife is hilarious. It's hilarious irrespective of his looks. Yeah, man. And this is PatrickCc just doing an expose. This stuff isn't coming from him per se. I mean, I think he's co-signing. It sounds like he's really co-signing, but he's, like I said, he put together a pretty good expose. There's definitely going to be a little bit of hate. There's going to be some animosity. Man, this guy is just killing the game. And when you watch this part of the video that's coming up, this dude is sitting at the table with this woman who's engaging in crowd work with Matt. And this guy realizes this girl sitting next to him, this girl, he's pedestalized. He's in love with her. He probably paid to bring her in there. He's probably in the friend zone. That dude sees right now that she doesn't care about him at all, and she will probably do anything to this dude on stage that she doesn't even know. Like, he already sees the groupie in her, and man, oh man, you can see her right there. If you look at the screen, the dude mad already. Let's get back to the video.
Going back and forth with a young girl in the front row, but notice the guy sitting next to her. He isn't having as much of a good time as her.
Oh, yeah, he worked at the college as well, and he went on to become a pilot in the Air Force. Well, that's kind of cool.
Like in the process, he's still got to graduate.
He's not even a pilot, so you haven't fucked a pilot.
You could see this guy doesn't find Matt as funny as the girl does. His eyes are fixated on the girl, his back is slouched, and his body is very closed. The girl identified this man as her friend. The poor guy probably realized that he is stuck in the friend zone, and he is jealous that Matt would be able to steal his dream girl at the drop of a hat. So does that make Matt unfunny, or insecure guys just jealous? Matt Rife is not funny and is a comedian for NPCs. Anyone think this Matt Rife guy is terribly unfunny aside from some slightly above average crowd work? I've tried to like him, but I just can't come around to it. I like my comics more disheveled. This very well could be the opinions of envious men, but it really does seem like his comedy is specifically designed for women.
And I just feel like younger girls are into too many dumb things, like things that don't even actually exist, like horoscopes. It doesn't matter who you are, Jesus could come back. Just, what's up, girl? Jesus Christ. And girls would still be like, yeah, we know. Your birthday's December 25th. You're a Capricorn. My ex is a Capricorn. Won't make that mistake again. Like,
and that right there, like, he knows his audience. He's performing for women, right? I can see the hatred and whatnot, but he's performing for women. He knows his audience. My style of comedy is different. Bill Burr's style of comedy is different, right? Sebastian Maniscalco, different. Brett Ernst, different. John, you know what I mean? John Caparillo, different. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Like, this cat knows his audience. He's going to go out there and give the audience what they pay for. That's a brilliant move as a comedian, and it shows me that he is advanced beyond his years. It takes most comedians 15 years to figure that out. Is there some hate? Yeah, there's a lot of hate. It's a lot of hate because the women are, you know, running in there. They want him. And when dude sees that, like, man, this guy could smash my girl right now. Right now. And he don't even want it. And it's definitely some hate behind that, but let's continue.
Girls also love his sassy mannerisms.
babe, come on. Are you serious? Him? You're worried about him?
Friends, this wouldn't be as awkward. I want you guys to know that right now. Y'all making it weird, okay? I'm just trying to get to know a lovely couple.
Stand-up comedy is definitely a male-dominated art form. A lot of men prefer a comedian who turns ordinary situations into intensely unrealistic anecdotes, one who tackles taboo subjects, self-deprecates, one who can skillfully immerse you into a story that is entirely fake but paints the picture so well that you can't decipher it from reality. Matt often reinforces the things that you already know about sex, relationships, and delivers it with a flamboyant tone, producing a combination of claps and laughs. Many people call Matt Rife
Ooh, there's nothing wrong with that. That's called mastering the skill set, bro. It's mastering the skill set. If Matt Rife's audience was 85% African American male, then he would do a different bit. He would do a different bit. Y'all gonna find out where he, where he cut his teeth in the game. He would do a different bit. He can do it. This guy can go into any room and get the laughs. Right now, Patrick was saying that men want to go and they want this style of comic and this style of comic. And they want you to be able to do this and be able to do that. Nah, man, dudes are paying their money. They just want to laugh. They just want to laugh, bro. They want to be entertained. That's it. That's it. I've never had a person come up to me like, "You're funny, but you don't do enough one-liners, so I'm never coming to see you again." They're like, "Nah, bro, you funny. Either you're funny or you're not." Shout out to Brett Ernst, told me that, man. He's like, funny is funny, bro. Don't matter who it is. Right, one of the rooms I ran in Hollywood was it was LA. It was the San Fernando Valley. Right, the room was young Armenians. I ran a weekly show for Armenians, and I brought all sorts of comics in there, and they loved every comic we brought in there. Every headliner we had in there, the audience loved, except for like maybe a couple. Right, but because the audience was smart, they were young kids, but they were smart. Aaron Cater came in there and was doing bits about college. I didn't even understand, but the kids were just falling out of their seats. You know what I mean? The grown-ups and everyone was laughing. It was like, it is what it is, bro. Like, it's people who just hating. And now they're about to compare him to Dane Cook. Before we even get to the Dane Cook part, I'll tell you right up front, man, he's nowhere near Dane Cook. You know, like Dane Cook was funny. When Dane was coming up back in the late 90s, Dane was funny, and he commanded the college scene, right? That's when we had record stores, and he would have all the girls in colleges and all the dudes that were chasing the girls going to the record stores, and they made sure that Dane Cook's music was up at the front of the racks so people could see him. They would go in and buy his, albums. I want to say one of his albums went platinum or something stupid like that. Maybe it was gold. It was either gold or platinum, but it was like something unheard of for stand-up comics. And I saw Dane Cook at Dublin's. Dublin's used to have the hottest show in LA. And Dublin's was a nightclub. Y'all know Jay-Z was talking about it, bubbling in Dublin's. Like, that spot was, Sunset Strip was off. It was crazy. Late 90s. Dane Cook used to go in there and do that show. And it was insane. And I would watch the people, UCLA, USC, you know what I mean, Cal State Northridge, like all the college girls were in there going crazy. Where's Dane? We want Dane. I mean, it was just going insane. I didn't know who dude was, but I watched him close out every week. He did an hour, and bro, it was funny. It was funny. High energy. I mean, it's not, his routines wasn't, world changing, but man, they were funny. You know what I mean? They're about to compare him to Dane Cook. The only comparison I would say between Dane Cook and Matt Rife is the fact that women love him, and they have this is like their career just kind of exploded at one point. Those are the only two similarities. There's a lot of things there's a lot of people out there that didn't rock with Dane. There's a lot of comics that stayed away from Dane. And people used to tell me, man, be careful what material you use around him. I'm like, well, it's just Dane Cook. They're like, nah, man, that's Dane Crook. So he was one of the comics that was notorious for taking material. Matt Rife hasn't had this problem, right? Other people have. So it was just one of those things that comics knew. I was an open micer, so I really wasn't worried about it. You know what I mean? I didn't even have 2 minutes worth of material. If he took something from me, whatever. You know what I mean? But for the people who out there who have routines, guys will come out and tell me, like, this routine right here, he stole that from Sam Tripodi. That routine right there, he stole that routine from so-and-so. You know what I mean? A lot of people stole from Sam Tripodi, to be honest with you. But they'll be like, he stole this routine from, and I can't think of the comic's name, but it was a guy out there. But, it is what it is. Bobby Lee has had material taken from him. You know what I mean? Ari Shaffir. That was he stole that one bit from Ari. It was all kind of stuff going on out there, man. But it was what it was, bro. It was what it was, brother Viking. That joke was red pill as fuck. Even if you're the son of God, women will still disqualify you, bro. Hilarious. Hilarious. Yeah, red pill is funny, man. Brother Nightis is in the building. What's good, fam? Salute to you, man. Glad you came through this, man. Glad you came through. Yeah, and he was like Gavik and Shamel, Attell, Norm, McDonald. Yeah, there's some greats out there, bro. Like, I love comedy, man. If you're a funny comic, I just love to sit there and watch good comedy, bro. And trust me, I've seen a lot of bad comedy, but I've seen people grow too. I've watched people come in barely having 3 minutes. And then, 5-6 years later, you bump into them and they're featuring somewhere and they got, a solid 30, 45 minutes, bro. I've watched that. It's amazing. It is amazing. Let's continue.
This generation's Dane Cook, since Dane was very popular amongst women due to his looks, which is not an insult considering Dane Cook is the entire reason why Matt is who he is. On October 15th, 2009, 14-year-old Matt saw Dane Cook at the Nationwide Arena. That night, Matt decided he wanted to be a comedian. He crushed school talent shows and became the stereotypical class clown. He did keep his dreams of being a football player in his back pocket, though. His college recruitment statement said, "I am a very daft learner, with outstanding heart, ambition, and instinct. I progress very fast as well. I personally feel I am college football material, and I cannot see myself doing anything else in my future. God has a plan for me, and I believe that to play football for college and then possibly play on Sundays."
All right. Matt Rife was trolling when he wrote that, y'all. Like, he was trolling when he did that. I refuse to believe that was a serious personal statement that he was going to send off to a D1 college because he was trying to get in there. He knew he wasn't getting in there. Coming out of Ohio, you know what it takes to get into college. D1. You talking about D2, D3, you could probably get in there, but he knew what he was doing. He knew he didn't have the grades. He was a class clown. I think he was just, I believe personally that he was just trolling before trolling was a thing, bro. But it is what it is. That's crazy. Brother Michael's in the building. What's good? What's good, man? Checking in, boss. Yo, you gonna be in Miami for seeing me? Let me know if you're gonna be out there, man. Good to see you, bro. We got Brother Mandrell in the building. What's good? My favorite Green Beret. What's happening, bro, man? We over here talking comedy. So let's continue.
That Ohio education is very apparent in his letter, and he did not get a scholarship, so he decided to use Twitter to reach out to every single comedian stopping through Columbus, Ohio, hoping to get just 2 minutes of stage time. D.L. Hewley was the first comedian to ever give him a guest spot at the Columbus Funny Bone. Matt had just turned 16 and was 4 months into doing open mics. One other person that gave him a chance early on was Eric Griffin, who became a mentor for Matt. He took him around LA, showed him all the comedy clubs, and got him into circles with pretty big comedians early on. You see, at the time, Matt's gimmick was that he was this Justin Bieber looking boy who was performing for mostly black crowds. He doesn't say this was intentional though.
Intentional. I've been asked it a bunch of times, like, how did you find yourself in that kind of like market audience? And I think it's just because like black comedians are more, they're more apt to sharing the spotlight or whatever. Like they're totally okay helping you out. I feel like a lot of white comics can be stingy.
Eric Griffin described Matt's act early on as so black.
So black. Your act was so. It was like the blackest act, and then I knew it wasn't gonna go well.
You set me up.
It's hard to know exactly what Eric.
You know, seeing that is kind of funny because, like, I know Eric. You know what I mean? Like, Eric used to do a bunch of my rooms. You know, I remember him as doing open mics, and then that's one of the people that I was talking about. You see him when they're struggling to have 3 minutes, and then you see them, get passed by the comedy store, and they're a comedy store regular kind of thing, right? I watched the progression. But there were gaps in my career when I moved from LA. And in 2009, I moved from LA to Miami, and I was in Miami for a few years, came back to LA for a second. I went to San Diego. So there was big gaps. And while I was gone, people really came up and did their thing. So maybe it was during that phase that Matt Rife hit the scene. But it's like DL was one of the first people to put him on. It's hard to get somebody to let you feature. Bro, I'm here to tell you, it's difficult. I don't care who the comic is. To get someone to let you feature someone, they generally know you, they know your acts, they've seen you out there hustling, and they're like, hey, they'll invite you to come. Hey, man, why don't you join me on the road? You can feature for me. You know what I mean? Or why don't you join me on the road and we can get you, 20, 25 minutes, whatever, and help you develop. You see that all the time. You got to earn that. No one just comes out and just does it. And I don't know about that. Hey, I'm going to send out a tweet saying, hey, why don't you guys let me get up? I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. Stage time is hard to get, especially when you're talking about these known, DL is like a B-list celebrity, bro. He's acted, he's done that, one of the kings of comedy, right? One of the original kings of comedy. And then like all the other stuff he's gone on to do, being a commentator and all that. That's a big deal to have someone like DL who get like, yo, I got you, come through, come feature. Like that part of the story, man. I don't know, man. I might have to hit Eric up and ask him, like, yo, bro, what's this part of the story here? I do believe the part that Eric Griffin was gonna like take him under his wing and show him the ropes out in LA. That makes sense. And people do that all the time. But yeah, man, it's just cool that this young man cut his teeth with the black side, like the African American crowd in comedy. I stayed away from that demographic, which was funny, right? I came up, I didn't want to be known as a black comic. My fear was, man, if I come up doing open mics and working in the black rooms, I'll never be accepted in the mainstream rooms. So like, well, let me start in the mainstream rooms and then, kind of do it in reverse. I'll start in the mainstream rooms, and if I get big enough, I won't have any problem getting invited to do the black rooms. And, that's how it worked out. Once you get your routine together, once you get yourself to a certain point, yeah, you can transition into any room. And by starting in the mainstream side of things, I transitioned into promoting and producing shows, which really helped me out because now I'm getting comics from all bubbles, from every neighborhood, black comics, Latin comics, Asian comics, you know what I mean? All of them. I'm just getting all kind of comics and I'm making connects that way. And people are inviting me, hey, I did your room. Why don't you come and do mine? So I was, getting invited to East LA to do a show. I'll get invited to Koreatown to do a show because they're doing my show in Hollywood or doing one of my shows in the Valley. So it worked out for me. So I was able to touch all these different rooms. And I just used my networking skills. But it is what it is. I'm just really shocked that that's how it worked out for me. Brother Viking is like, so he used networking to learn and earn himself options. W. Yeah, that's a win. Right. And that's, man, Hollywood is all about networking, especially in the comedy game. Same in New York, same in Chicago, same here in Tampa, same in, Miami, wherever you go, Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota, Orlando, Dallas, Austin. You're going to have to go out there and people are going to be like, oh, what's up? How long you been doing this? Where did you start? Who do you know? Luckily, I can say, yeah, I work with so-and-so and so-and-so. When people I know show up, I just come to the spot and they'll, hey, man, you want to do some time? And it takes years to get to that point. Years. So, it is a lot of hating on Matt Rife. It is a lot of hating on Matt Rife, bro. And Brother Vikings, like I did something like that when I fully understood the usefulness of my skills. I started by just demining, and many big RP guys I trusted and offered my skills and insights. Yeah, absolutely. That's you do it in the RP world, bro. You can do it in the mainstream world. I mean, that's just networking one-on-one. You add value, you show that you can help someone get to where they're going or help someone make some money, or you add value, they're gonna rock with you, bro. At least the good people will. And if you help them out and they don't help you out, you learn a valuable lesson there. Stay away from that person and stay away from anyone who deals with that person, right? This is all part of networking. And it will, if you out there and you doing business properly, treating people with respect, people are gonna always come back and holler at you, man. My name in comedy is gold. I earned that. If anybody goes out there and tries to taint my name, I'm gonna go see them. Like, nah, I'm gonna come see you. Who said what? Who said it? Point them out. I mean, you got to protect it like that. You know what I mean? Let's get back to the video.
Meant by this, but Matt has been criticized for wanting to be black for his entire career. This Facebook caption reads, "Just your average black teenager trying to look marketable." You feel me?
Why do you hang out with so many black people then, huh? What do you want to be black? Fucking a little bit.
Obviously, these are just jokes, but there has been real discourse around his alleged blaccent. Mickey Kendall, an author and diversity consultant, says that blaccent is a term describing the fake accent racist and cultural appropriators use when they mimic black people. Nesenia Burton says that non-black celebrities are celebrated in entertainment for appropriating African-American culture, especially our vernacular, while African-Americans are either demonized or overlooked when speaking in black vernacular. Some people say that this is just how people from Ohio talk. And at first,
I want to stop it real quick. And my bad, Brother Viking. He was like, just DMing. I think I said D-mining or whatever, man. My bad. My mind is racing. He reached out by just DMing people in the RP space and getting on that way. My bad, y'all. But this whole blaccent thing, right? I get it. There's a thing. You can hear a twang sometimes, and sometimes you don't. I know for a fact that I've been on business calls with people, and then I will meet them and be shocked that they're black. Like, whoa, I was talking to you? Word? You know what I mean? I've had people, I was an air traffic controller. You don't know people. We just have microphones. You don't see us. We're in the towers, whatever. But I've gone to events and I would meet pilots, black pilots in particular. And they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? And they'd shake my hand and know my name. I'm like, hey, do I know you? Like, no, we talk all the time. I'm one of the Charlie Lima pilots. And it's like, how do you know it's me? He's like, come on, bro. Like, come on. And I'm like, oh, you got a point. You got a point. He heard my blaccent, right? So it is what it is. But there's also the dialect thing. If you are around certain folks, you may begin to mimic their dialect. You might notice a change in your cadence. You may use different words around them, right? It is what it is. It's sometimes it's conscious, but most times it's unconscious. Like it's part of your subconscious attaching to what's going on out there. You don't know you're doing it, especially when you're young. I see this all the time with young kids. Like, it might be a white kid who kicks it with Latinos, and he's like in that world. He's gonna sound like a Latino after 5 years if he's like coming up with him. He's gonna sound like him. He's gonna use the same words. He's gonna use you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing if coming to the black community. If you're a white kid, or if you're a black kid and you raised out in the burbs somewhere. You'll be saying, oh my God, and stuff like that. So I've seen it on all sides, right? And it does suck that they're trying to paint him a certain way. He was embraced by the black comics, and they brought him on and they put him on. And this is what he's around, and this is all he's seeing and hearing. Of course, he's going to sound a little bit different. He's going to begin to mimic mannerisms. He's going to begin to act a certain way. It's not worth that. I mean, my bad. I look down. It's not a bad thing. It's all good. It's all good. Right? I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, there's a difference. There's that guy who comes across the room and he's gonna like try to talk like he's from the hood, and you know the difference. People, we know the difference. Everyone knows the difference. You know, so this kid isn't that. You know what I mean? If they're trying to paint him in that lens, I think that's wrong to kind of paint him in that way. This kid isn't that. And if he was that, trust me, I would know, because everyone would be talking about it. But that's the world he came up in.
Matt openly admitted to doing this.
Really growing up and just with your comedy career in an urban club, you started like music cues. I'm like starting to talk black and stuff like that. I'm doing like mainly black room.
But then readdressed the controversy a few years later. I love when white people accuse me of having a black accent. First of all, you can't sound black. Second, if my voice echoes a cadence or tone of a certain culture, that's due to my surroundings. My apologies for not living my life exclusively around boring, corny white people. He has also addressed the alleged racism in his act.
I'm not racist. If you look at the people who I hold closest in my life, the people I love most and would probably die for, you would see that they're black.
Because of comedians like D. Ray Davis and Finesse Mitchell letting him be a feature act for them in 2012, Matt was discovered by his then manager, Gary Abdo, who owned
D. Ray and Finesse both allowed him to be a feature. Yo, people, y'all need to understand how difficult that is. It is really difficult to get stage time. And when someone comes to you and say, hey, why don't you be the opening act? They saw something. They saw something. It's not like, oh, I just need a white kid on my tour. Nah. These dudes had to claw and scratch their way, you know what I mean, in Hollywood. It was very, very difficult, especially for people of color. It is difficult, man. I don't care what nobody tell you. Trust me, I watch these people coming up. It's hard. They do it. And then you were going to say, oh, let me go get some random white boy to open. No, they're not going to do that. They can't afford to have a bad show. They are living on that money. Like, so they're not going to get Hollywood money. They're not getting, you know what I'm saying? They're not getting that sitcom money. They are living on that road money. Between the feature and between the pop-in guests on some show or whatever, you know, the main source of their income is on the road. You're not going to mess that money up. You're not going to mess that money up. So anyone you bring out there on the road with you, they have to be funny, bro. They got to know what they're doing. So like, shout out to D-Ray and Finesse. Like, bro, D.L. Hughley, look at that. The first three big people who helped him out, all African-Americans, right? And that led to his getting his manager. Like, and you need that to break through to the next level. You know what I mean? You need that. And I feel you, brother Vikings. Like, yep, hang with a lot of folks. Real knows real. No matter where I go, that's facts, man. That's facts. Let's check it out. Let's continue with the video.
The Uptown Comedy Corner in Atlanta, where Matt would spend all of his time practicing material. Comics who came to this club saw the potential in Matt. Mike Epps even took him on a short theater tour. This stint in the Comedy Corner wouldn't last long because one very important man became interested in Matt's comedy, Nick Cannon. Nick discovered Matt's talents in 2014 and added him to the Wild 'N Out roster for season 7. This was Wild 'N Out's 10-year anniversary and debuted to 4.4 million viewers, which is very high for 20.
Hey, yo, PatrickCc. It's Wildin' Out, man. It's not Wildin'. It's Wildin'. It's how he says Wildin'. Doesn't spell right. Drink water. That is PatrickCc's tagline. And I agree with him. Drink water. But, you know, now when Wildin' Out came around, Nick Cannon probably like, yeah, I want that diversity. You know what I mean? I got black comics and entertainers. I got Latino comics and entertainers. I want a white guy. It is not a lot of Caucasian stand-up comics that can get on a show like Wild 'N Out. That's a whole different subset of a subset. And the fact that this kid did it, again, it goes to his work ethic. It goes to his intelligence, because that is a tough transition. That dude, and he probably had less than 15 minutes of material, but they probably saw his crowd work early on. Like that kid got potential, and they brought him onto the show. That is not an easy task.
2015 TV standards. Nick Cannon's show has a history of giving promising new comedians a platform, such as Cat Williams, Pete Davidson, King Batch, just to name a few. His Wild 'N Out status helped him land his first acting role on Disney XD's Gamer's Guide to Pretty Much Everything, and with his newfound fame and consistent paychecks rolling in, he decided it was finally time to fix his teeth, giving him a ton of confidence and making the girls lust him more than ever. However, one girl was not very fond of Matt, Zendaya, which got him into some controversy on season 7, episode 4 of Wild 'N Out.
Look, you're mixed. I want to be black. Let's make a lifestyle move. Spit that water out so I can get your number, please. I need to touch it. Stick your hand in.
Dig the music, man. They're trying to make this sound all sinister, bro. They're trying to make it like, oh my God, he just screwed up. Oh my God, they finna bang right here, bro. It's going down. Cuz, what's up, blood? This was the show. This might have been scripted. This might have been scripted. I guess they were saying like it was some sort of controversy, and they were playing a different game, and they needed to make her laugh, so she'll spit the water out, and he's doing everything he had to do. Whatever. I never watched the show. Right? I'm just trying to piece it together. I've seen clips of the shows, and I know how wild. Again, Wild 'N Out. I know how wild it was. You feel me? So, yeah, PatrickCc right now is trying to drum up just a bit of controversy. Yeah, she didn't stop him. She didn't stop him. I think it was kind of scripted, like, but maybe that was one of the rules that you can't touch or whatever. I don't know. I never watched the show. And then you got this team against that team. And again, go back, find the episode and watch it. I know it's out there somewhere, but this wasn't by any stretch of the imagination some sort of controversy, right? No way.
People thought Matt went too far by touching Zendaya's face and immediately checked him, but Zendaya never really said anything about the incident afterwards. As if 2015 couldn't get any better for Matt, he finally got to meet and open for his idol, Dane Cook. Matt became a regular at the Laugh Factory in LA. He was added very consistently to big lineups, becoming a go-to host for acts like Chris D'Elia, Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino, Dane Cook, among others. This is common for comics to have a stretch of their lives just grinding clubs for years. Many people think Matt is just an overnight star, but he was very consistently doing stand-up alongside pros from 2015 until today, nearly a decade. In an unexpected turn of events, Matt was also asked to be the host of MTV's TRL during the 2017 reboot. TRL was a quintessential part of the early 2000s music scene and pop culture. It was one of the most important shows for an artist to go on when promoting a new record. MTV thought this reboot would have a stronghold on culture again. They were wrong, but it was more.
They were dead wrong. It didn't work. Do you hear what they said about all the grinding and all the hard work he did? He got himself a manager, right? So he was out there working hard, working on his art. People saw him. Black artists saw him. He came to LA. They kind of glossed over that part. He was like Ohio. I think he went to Atlanta, was bouncing around the road a little bit. He lands in LA. He's got Eric Griffin out there, taking him under his wing. That's huge. That's huge. He's got a manager. You know what I mean? What seems to be a really good manager. Just working. He got his teeth fixed. He's starting to make some money, doing some Disney stuff. He's out there, right? He's part of the union. He's SAG. He's probably part of the Writers Guild. His manager's going to take care of all that for him. He's out there doing what he needs to do to improve. And he's just moving up. He's just moving up. And now, boom, back to Dane Cook. Oh, I'm working with Dane Cook and Chris D'Elia and all of the other big names. He's at the Laugh Factory on the marquee. Bro, again, he had to have somebody vouch for him just to get in there. And he didn't come in there headlining, right? He came in there working hard, and then, bam, they kind of got him up on there, and they working with him, right? That's how it works. It's hard work. There are a lot of comedians out there who don't put in the work, and they don't get the success. There's a lot of comedians in there that put in a lot of work and they don't get the success. It is what it is. It's elusive, but it takes work. right? It's not all about just the funny. And he's obviously funny enough to do all this, but let's continue.
More screen time for Matt and allowed him to make more connections in the industry. It seemed like Matt had everything going right for him. Opportunities kept falling into his lap, but there was still no explosive growth. It's likely because he was on TV at a time when TV was less relevant than ever. But his idol, Dane Cook, believed he would be a star. In 2019, Dane had Matt as his feature act on his massive Tell It Like It Is tour. But opening for Dane Cook in 2019 is like a new rapper opening for Nelly or Ludacris. Sure, there's a large crowd, but most of the audience are there to reminisce on something that once was and not discover new talent. Plus, his gimmick was drying up. People used to laugh at his set almost in support of a kid trying to chase his dream. He was funny for a kid. He was now in his early 20s and he needed to be actually funny, especially looking like a supermodel. Dane, being the social media pioneer of comedy, tried to convince Matt that the only way to get to the next level is to use social media. For some reason, Matt was apprehensive, but after the pandemic, he had nothing else to do, so he finally launched his TikTok account. Most comedians in the past 3 years have heavily leveraged TikTok to help sell tickets. If they have a podcast, they will post clips of the podcast. Otherwise, they mostly post clips of them doing crowd work or experimental jokes that aren't going into their main act. Crowd work is extremely difficult, but Matt makes fun of girls left and right at his shows with ease.
The one-handed belt.
Take my belt off? If I do, will you hang yourself with it? I've never been more sure somebody's from Miami in my life.
He would often
And I'm thinking that's the Improv in LA. Like it is what it is. Like he's real comfortable with crowd work, and when you have women, like it is what it is. You heard all the women screaming like "Take your belt off." Could you imagine if I screamed up to some woman like "Take your belt off with one hand"? You know what I mean? Or show us your stomach or something. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like I said, man, don't hate the players, hate the game. It is the rules. The rules are the rules. The rules are constantly changing. You need to stay up on it. But this guy was out here working hard. He's out there with Dane Cook. It's a different crowd. Like when they're saying, well, it fell off because, they're there to see Dane Cook and, they're not there to see him. And he's older now. He's not just this kid. It was two different worlds. You go from Wild 'N Out to touring with Dane Cook. Those are two different worlds. Those worlds don't necessarily mesh together. It's two different styles of comedy. And he was probably in between trying to figure it out. Like, I need to modify my thing. I need to come up with more stuff. And he was just relying on crowd work, which he probably couldn't do crowd work when he was touring with Dane. Dane was doing like big theaters and stadiums and whatnot. He's not going to be able to do crowd work in that type of environment. You need to be in a more intimate setting like he is here at the Improv. The people are right there. You can hear what's going on and you can react to it. So, they're trying to make it sound a certain way, but it seems to me that he was just continuing to build as a comic, and he was modifying his material so he can move in these two different worlds. Because think about that. Like I'm over here doing this stuff mainstream with Dane Cook, but I'm still over here getting money, from the Apollo type stuff. Like I'm doing the black rooms. I'm still, I'm over here featuring and getting paid to go over here and open for, Finesse or somebody. So, you have to understand that he's in a transition period. Like it's hard. If I'm used to performing in front of hip hop kids and then I got to go and perform in front of country kids, like, bro, I'm going to have to switch up some of the jokes. I'm going to have to switch up some of the punchlines. I'm going to have to, come up with some new stuff on the fly that is going to resonate with this new crowd. And then once I do it a few times, okay, I got it. Now I'm cool, so I could rock the hip hop kids out. Now I could go rock out the farming kids out. But now I'm in New York and I'm performing for some old Jewish people. Oh, I'm gonna have to switch it up again. I'm gonna have to find some joke. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to go in there. I'm gonna have to probe the crowd, see what I said probe. I'm gonna have to probe the crowd, see what they like, what they don't like. I'm gonna have to try to come up with some stuff on the fly. This is why stand-up comedy is so difficult. There are comics out there who just run their material. That's it. They got 15 minutes, 35 minutes, 15 minutes, 35 minutes, 45 minutes, and an hour, and they just run it. They run the same material no matter what stage they on. They just run it. There's people who do that. And then there are comics out there like myself, like Ty Barnett, like some others I can name that want to make you laugh. Like I got to make you laugh. It's not enough for me to come out here and just, all right, I did my 35 minutes, pay me. You got to laugh. So I think Matt Rife is one of those guys. He wants to make you laugh. And his You know, he leans on the crowd work. He leans on the fact that women are thirsting after him and he can get away with murder. Right. So at least that's how I see it. Let's continue.
And ask the crowd what their relationship status was, or ask women what are some red flags, aka warning signs they see in a guy.
Hold on. You said girl best friend? Have you met her?
Yes.
And you don't like this? What's that?
We're not together anymore, so yeah.
You guys broke up because of her?
There were a lot of reasons.
Okay, well then maybe don't put all the weight on her shoulders.
These segments can feel more like indulging in juicy drama of strangers' lives rather than comedy, but Matt's quick and witty responses make it worth it. Unfortunately, Matt's TikTok clips went relatively unnoticed for years. He wasn't that consistent, and TikTok was still in the era of short 15-second dopamine boost clips to keep people scrolling. Within that time, he even became a part of the TFIL YouTube channel. He released his very first comedy special on YouTube titled OnlyFans in late 2021.
That's why I did for my first special, OnlyFans. I labeled it OnlyFans because I knew so many people were Googling if I had an OnlyFans. So it drove all the traffic to the special.
The smart marketing tactic gained him 1 million views in less than a year. As TikTok expanded their upload time limit to 3 minutes, then to 10 minutes, a lot of comedians felt confident uploading a longer segment that had all of the necessary context to tell their jokes. Plus, TikTok users proved that they don't just mindlessly scroll and actually tend to pay attention to longer content. Matt uploaded a 2.5-minute TikTok on July 30th, 2022 that went extremely viral.
Like, dude has millions and millions and millions of views via TikTok. I don't upload any of my stand-up. I just don't. I guess I'm old school. I don't want to do it. I mean, you taking a chance as a comic. Okay, I'm going to upload stuff I don't do anymore. I'm going to upload stuff from early in my career. It is what it is. What if people don't like it? Right? They're like, oh, DL Saint's performed at the Improv. Type up DL Saint, you watch these clips that have been up there for 6 or 7 years. And it's like, man, he ain't funny. I ain't gonna go see that. So that can hurt you. You know, I have a lot of people come up to me like, man, I can't find any of your stand-up material. I'm like, yeah, if you want to see it, man, come see me. You gotta come see me. And you know, you can remember what they said in the story. At first, Matt Rife, he didn't want to mess with it because he understood that too. Plus, it takes a long time to develop material, man. You hate burning it on the internet. If you put it on the internet, it's burned, right? It's really burned. So, you know, because it's the worst thing in the world. Someone comes out to see you and then you come off stage and they're like, oh, yeah, you're funny, man, but I saw all that stuff online. When are you going to do something new? Like, bro, you know how long it takes to come up with brand new stuff, to come up with like that kind of, you know, those kind of closers, right? Those punchlines is going to really rock, man. That's hard to come up with, bro. That's hard to come up with. So I'm like, I don't want to burn it. And Brother Viking, man, I think you're right, man. I think that is her. Like the actress that was dating Spider-Man, man. I didn't know she had a comic background, bro. I didn't know. I'm looking at that like, is that where she came from? Wow. Because she's in Dune, the new Dune. I guess they're coming out with part 2 on Netflix. But no, that's gonna be in the theaters. Anyway, she's in that. She stars in that. If that's her, man, I had no idea she had a comic background. Let's continue.
How recently did you guys break up?
May.
Okay, gotcha.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything? He didn't do anything wrong or in life? In life? Did he not have a job the entire time you guys were together? He did? He worked in the ER? Oh, I'm sorry, you broke up with a hero?
This video has nearly 40 million views. From there, his back catalog and future videos got flooded with thousands of comments from women. So cute, and from Ohio. He's cute. This dude fine as hell, funny, and attractive. Unfortunately for these women, Matt does not love them back, because Matt has a type. He went into extensive detail on the type of women he likes on the Stiff Socks podcast. He said that they needed fake D-cup breasts, can't have a BBL, and this.
Oh, but sometimes you get a girl with a big clit and you're like, God, dude, I'm nothing. You just
Dude, I've seen it. I've seen it when I've been in the bedroom with a girl with a massive clit. I'm like, yo, that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to you or thumb wrestle?
Women on TikTok could not believe that Matt could be so crass. They were surprised to hear their sweet and humble king talk like a dirty pig. The backlash caused the Stiff Socks pod to delete the episode from their channel, but Matt has always been vocal about his type.
Matt has a thing where he likes old chicks. Why do you like old chicks? The 4 you dated are always way older than you. And what do I always say? It's not going to work, but you don't listen.
It's different this time. Okay?
It's different this time.
You know, it was funny. I was watching a lot of podcasts, doing a little bit of research for this. And a lot of people watch podcasts with comics. You know, you see comics laughing a lot and you see them yelling and getting, you know, overly excited. Like, man, they're just doing that for the podcast. Like, nah, bro, they do that every day. When they're sitting with someone that they like and they're telling stories, man, they get over the top all the time. Telling stories, telling about the road, telling stories about, you know, what was happening at the Improv or the Comedy Store or whatever back in the day. Open mic stories. When they're sitting around with their people, they get over the top. That's how you can tell when someone likes you, bro. Outside of that, they'll be kind of quiet, you know what I mean, kind of keeping to themselves. But when they see their crew, they go crazy. So podcast, when you watch the podcast and these guys like Bobby Lee and, you know what I mean, you got Eric Griffin here, you got some other people, they seem over the top, laughing a lot. It's because they're happy, bro. That's not an act. It's just because they're happy. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you.
I like the maturity. I don't like going out to the clubs every night. I don't want somebody who wants to be at the clubs every night.
Matt likes older women, and a perfect example of this would be when one woman liked his set so much, she tattooed her lip in honor of him. A horny middle-aged mom made him cookies and a shirt that read, "I came to Iowa and all I got was this t-shirt and a BJ."
It's like the perfect consistency too. Oh my God. Thank you so much. What's your name? Christina, you are so hot. Thank you so much. Oh my God. How old are you? Say it. Say it.
Because of Matt repeating, "say it," this grandmother went and tattooed the inside of her lip with the words, "say it," and she now almost has 1 million followers on TikTok. This interaction was the most viewed TikTok on Matt's page at over 50 million views. Now everything he uploads earns around 10 million views. His TikTok
Beast mode. Beast mode. The BJ and all that, you know what I'm saying? Getting a smash. I've done that. From the stage, I've done that. As a promoter, as a producer, I've done that. But having a woman tattoo the inside of her lip, that's Don. That is the most Don DeMarco thing a young cat could do. She tattooed the inside of her lip. Say it. Hey, bro, like I said, man, I've been on the road and I've been all over LA or whatever. I've been in New York, Miami. I've done comedy a little bit everywhere, bro. I got some stories. We'll get the Patreon going one day. When we get 2,000 subscribers, I made up my mind. When we get 2,000 subscribers, I'll start the Patreon and I'll tell some of those stories. I've done that. But have someone tattoo the inside of their lip, or grandma. She was a hot little milf. So you know who he doing when he on the road. Well, you know who's doing him when he's on the road, right? And it goes into that, you know, bro, be good at something. Be good at something. It's gonna pop off. And most of the guys who aren't good at comedy, they get into comedy because of the women. They get into comedy because they get on stage. And if they're funny, they get opportunities to holler at women that, you know, that normally was outside of their league. That's their game. That's why they don't even try to make millions of dollars. They don't want the world tour. They just trying to get, you know what I mean, some 3 or 4 to give them some drunks, Foxy Brown at the end of the show, right? And in the middle of nowhere, in Oklahoma, or in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota, or in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. That's all they're trying to do. And they're happy with that life. And you got someone like Matt Rife who's like, bro, I'm trying to get the bread. I'm trying to get the bread. That woman, wow. Shout out to him. Shout out to her. Man, oh man, she tattooed the inside of her lip. Let's continue.
TikToks are arguably more important than his specials at this point. So he decided to do an entire crowd work special titled Walking Red Flag that absolutely exploded on YouTube. Often rappers and singers who go viral on TikTok have a hard time selling tickets to their live shows. For Matt, it's the total opposite. He announced his tour on June 5th, 2023.
I wish for a world tour, bigger than anything I could have ever dreamed of. And I want it full sold out with people from across the world who just want to come out, have a good time and laugh.
His wish came true. Matt sold out over 150 shows all over the world just 10 days after the tickets went live. Every time.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but you can go on YouTube and look up that promo. Ashton Kutcher did that with him. Ashton Kutcher did the promo for his world tour. You telling me this young man ain't networking? You telling me this guy ain't got pulled like that? How did he bump into Ashton Kutcher? Performing, bro. Like if you're the hottest comedian in LA, bro, that you're a rock star. The hottest comedian is just like being in the hottest band and no one's heard of, right? You are a rock star, right? R&B, neo soul, hip hop. If you're that person, like spoken word, if you're that person and you're just rocking it out like that, man, you're going to get invited to the Hollywood Hills. Man, you're going to have all the A-listers wanting to holler at you. All the, you know what I mean? All the directors and producers want to holler at you. All the agents and managers are trying to get you, even though they know you already got an agent and manager. Like Hollywood will open up for you. Look at that guy. Look at this dude. Right? Look at this dude. You don't think they was trying to get him on the casting couch? Right? The male producers, executive producers, and the female executive producers for that matter. This is a handsome young man. He has a world tour. You can't buy tickets to his world tour right now. It's almost impossible. You can only get tickets to like the big theaters, right? The stadium size theaters. He's doing stadiums. Right? Sebastian Maniscalco was doing stand-up for almost 20 years before he broke through. Sebastian's funny. Check him out. He's on Netflix. Shout out Sep. That's my guy. Right? He did my rooms too. Like we were all coming up. They were like a couple classes ahead of me. I looked up to those guys. Nah, I can't hate on this man. He doing what he doing. Let's continue.
Time he adds a new show, it gets sold out immediately. The only shows you can find tickets to are much larger venues, 5,000 to 10,000 seats. And he did this just 11 months after his first TikTok went viral. As much as Reddit trolls and angry men want to see his demise, everyone who has ever spoken about Matt publicly has said nothing but positive things.
That's why Matt Rife made.
Look, man, Bobby Lee is cruel to comics. If Bobby Lee gives you a nod, if Bobby Lee is like, yeah, you good, that means you're good. Bobby is wild. He's out of control. He's all kind of craziness or whatever, but he respects the art form. Bobby Lee's not going to say you're a good comic if you're not a good comic. If Bobby Lee says you stole somebody's material, you probably stole somebody's material. He respects the art form. Shout out to Bobby. You know what I mean? Can Bobby be weird? Absolutely. Has Bobby tried to be a weirdo around me? Yeah, I've seen it. But, you know, Bobby ain't crazy, right? He only acts weird around those people that let him. But generally speaking, you can have a real conversation like he's talking right now. Bobby is always serious when it comes to comedy. He really respects the art form. So when I saw this right now, I'm like, yeah, this Matt Rife kid. Yeah, he the real deal.
Making it doesn't, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
It makes me go, you know what, that kid deserves it.
I'll be real, I hate Matt Rife, okay? Fucking hate him. I hate, look, here's the thing, man, like, he's super funny, and he's like the most beautiful man alive, and then on top of that, like, he's the sweetest person I've ever met. Like,
most dudes that look like that are not that funny.
Yeah, and most dudes that look like that are women. I love Matt. It's awesome. It's awesome to see anybody doing well.
Rife is our boy, kind of.
Right, yeah, we're big Matt Rife fans.
He's a friend of the show.
I think he gets an unfair amount of hate.
At the end of the day, if Matt Rife makes you laugh, then he's a good comedian. But calling him the Dane Cook of this generation is definitely accurate. But you'll have to watch my video on the most hated comedian of all time to see why.
And yeah, it's not. Yeah, no. Calling him Dane Cook of his day, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, that's a lightweight insult. I mean, Dane, nah, bro. And if you know anything about Dane Cook, you know what I'm talking about. The guy did his thing. That's one of those guys that didn't care what he was doing to you to get to the top. And then, you know, when he had his fall, it didn't matter because he made his millions. It is what it is. He's doing what he's doing. He's still doing what he's doing, right? Like I said, I heard the stories. I saw Dane Cook perform. It was magical. It was magical, bro. In the late 90s, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It was magical. I watched that. I watched his rise. You know, I saw what he was doing. I was watching. I knew his crew. And then when I was all over and it came back down, hey man, it was what it was. Matt Rife is not like that. At least not to my knowledge. Matt Rife was just out there, some kid from Ohio who went out there and chased his dream. And it's not his fault the women thirst all over him, but he's out there getting it done every day, putting in the work and reaping the benefits, period. It can end for him tomorrow. His career could be done tomorrow. We still haven't seen him in any movies, right? He's still trying to break through. He's still trying to be that A-list guy in Hollywood. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of work to do. Can he do it? Probably. But, you know, he knows how the game goes. And when it, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, if he's funny to you, he's funny or whatever. Brett Ernst said this to me, and I'll never forget it, man. Funny is funny. He was like, funny is funny, man. It doesn't matter who you get up in front of, make them laugh. That's the job of a comedian. He makes people laugh. And I don't care if it's just a bunch of girls who want to smash him. They laughing. They paid to get in there. They're laughing. His crowd work is like up there with Ian Bagg. It looks like his crowd work is good. I've watched some of his specials. He's still developing as a comic. He really is. I think he has a long way to go as a comic. He's made his money. He's going to put this money away. He's going to continue to do stand up, and he's going to honor the art form and get better. That's my take on Matt. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, Matt, if you happen to be watching this, or anybody who knows who's watching this. Like, it is what it is. Can't hate on a young man who's out there doing the work. You know what I mean? But, you know, you look at, you know, because they were saying, well, he's not that funny. I'm like, bro, he is. I just looked at Netflix. I just pulled up Netflix, and I was kind of looking at some of the names, some of the specials or whatever. You know, you look at Brett Krashner, the guy who takes his shirt off or whatever. He's definitely as funny as him, right? I've seen him perform a few times. Not my cup of tea, but like, bro, they love it. He takes his shirt off. People go crazy. He's just, you know, performing on stage. To me, I'm like, why is that guy got his shirt off? I didn't know his stick, right? Sat there and listened to him. He was in the main room. I listened to him for a little bit. Mind you, this was after me watching Bill Burr work out in the OR. So I kind of go in the main room and I watch, and I'm like, this isn't for me. I went up to the belly room to see who was performing up there. But he's every bit as funny as that guy and works just as hard. I mean, they're at those higher levels. He's definitely funnier, in my opinion, than Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah had his own TV talk show. Way funnier than Trevor Noah, in my opinion. You know what I mean? This isn't hate. This is how the game goes, bro. We're allowed to have opinions as comedians and people who like the art form. He is, when it comes to Amy Schumer, oh my God. No contest. No contest at all. To this day, I don't know why Amy Schumer is out there making money, but I'm glad she's getting it. But I can't get through one. I try to watch her specials. It's boy, I try to get through them. Like, oh man. Oh my goodness. Nowhere near that level. She is nowhere near his level of comedy. Right. And this, you know, Matt Rife is still growing, learning this thing. And then you got Brendan Schwab, the MMA guy. Again, this dude was like above him. And it's like, why? Here's a guy that was MMA. Well, I know why. Like, you know, Joe Rogan said, hey, you're funny. And once he got the nod from Joe Rogan and was able to get into all these clubs without really doing the work, he just assumes everyone was just going to love him. Comedy don't work that way. Comedy does not work that way. You can go in there and you think you're funny if you want to, and it'll blow up in your face. So Matt Rife is definitely funnier than the last three people I mentioned on there, and even like Kreshner. Like I said, there's people who love that style of comedy. I don't, but the guy's funny. I mean, he'll make me chuckle. Like, oh, like, okay, that's funny. I like the way he sets up some of his stuff. I'm like, okay, I see where he's going with that. All right, cool. You know what I mean? But Matt Rife, that kid's got a future. He's got something snappy, that guy. That kid, he's going places. You heard it here first. But yeah, you can't get tickets to his world tour. Sold out. Sold out. It's insane. Insane. Good for him. I'm so happy for him, man. I hope he makes a transition into acting, if that's what he wants to do, and really get into the big bread. So yeah, that's the show, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. Bro, I'm just here to tell you, man, that and shout out to PatrickCc. Please go, if you haven't done so, please go and like and subscribe over there. Here is the link right here. Help him get up to 10 million subscribers. He's at 1.5. So, but go over there, check out his work. He does great work over there. I'm not exaggerating. The man does great work. So please go over there, check out PatrickCc, and yeah, support him because he's earned it. He's doing the work. I support anyone who does the hard work. It's just great things, right? So that's it. That's all we got for tonight, guys. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking some hardcore red pill stuff, man. I'm gonna be doing a reaction or breakdown of some of I did a DL short about it today, but I want to do a breakdown of give me a second here, guys. Try to figure this out. I want to do a breakdown of Scott Galloway, right? Professor Scott Galloway. He was doing the Diary of a CEO Diary or Diary of a CEO podcast, and man, he was dropping some fire. So I want to do that. So expect that tomorrow, 6 o'clock. I'll put the thumbnail out tonight or tomorrow. It's gonna be a good time. I know we can't get enough of that red pill talk, man. So we definitely gonna get into it. And I like Scott Galloway's take on what's going on with our society here in the West. So make sure y'all come by for that tomorrow. I know my Fresh and Fit people are gonna be busy supporting Myron and Fresh, and I get that. So just come back and make sure you watch Team Replay. But I appreciate you guys for rocking out with me today. This was fun. And like I said, man, I really enjoy rocking with you guys. Thank y'all so much for rocking out with me. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And I will see y'all in Miami this weekend. I will see the rest of y'all tomorrow, 6 p.m. right here. And we're going to talk some more. I really want to know stuff. All right. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.